Okay. Down here to the superior view and internal view of the cranium. We'll go over this pretty quick. Again, just going down the list, I'm just going to breeze through this. Occipital bone, parietal bones, frontal bone. Kyle talked about the lambda, where the lambdoidal suture essentially meets the parietal bones. So this area right here. Again, you have the lambdoidal suture, the sagittal suture, and the coronal suture. A new landmark is the bregma, and the bregma is where the parietal bones meet the frontal bones. So this area right here, sagittal suture, coronal suture, just that area. And then the parietal foramen, which he talked about, the small holes that are for arterioles. Let's go ahead and flip this over and zoom in onto this book. Okay. So internal surface of the cranium, you have the groove for superior sagittal sinus, and this book illustrates it really well. You can see the contours like the Grand Canyon down the internal surface of your cranium. And
just so you can notice here, that line here is actually the sagittal suture that's running down the middle.
Yeah, if you come into the lab here, you can pick up a model like this, kind of run your finger down the middle. You can feel how it's just grooved right there. And just to show on the brain, that's where your the groove for the superior sagittal sinus is going to sit, right there, right between the two hemispheres. Okay. Let's look at the frontal crest here in the book. Frontal crest is going to be this area right here. There's actually a sinus in there called the frontal sinus. You can't see it on the models, but I'll show you where it would be, right where this little thing is sitting. It'd be right there. That's the frontal crest, and the frontal sinus would be inside. And then two more things. Grooves for the grooves for middle meningeal vessels. You can see those really well here on the brain, or here on the cranium. And those middle meningeal vessels, kind of like I talked about, are on the inside internal surface of the cranium, and where your pterion is, where those sutures meet, is where your middle meningeal vessels will be. And then real quick, if you feel on the model, you can feel kind of some depressions, almost like you took your thumb and you pushed into the cranium and it depressed like Play-Doh. You'll feel those are depressions for the arachnoid granulations, and that's, like we learned about in neuroscience, those arachnoid villi will kind of grow up sometimes, and they'll actually push into the surface of the cranium and cause those depressions. So.